and welcome to today's Amicus Attorney Free Training Thursday. I have Darren Juby here with me, and today he's going to be taking us through the Amicus Attorney mobile app. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put them in the sidebar, and we will get to them at the end if we have time. I'll now turn it over to Darren, and he'll take us through the mobile app.
Thank you very much, Amanda, and good afternoon, everybody. And as she had already said, welcome to this week's Amicus Attorney Free Training Thursdays, presented by Amicus Next here. And this week, as she had stated, we're focusing on Amicus Mobile. So my name's Darren. I'm the product trainer for Amicus Attorney here, and we're going to be going through some things here in Amicus Mobile. As you guys should be able to see on my screen here, I have a virtual representation of Amicus Mobile on this virtual, it looks like an iPhone anyways. So we'll be going through a few things there, and just please note that obviously because it is a virtual presentation, there will be times where I can't really go off script. I'll be able to show you what I can show you within this, but really not deviate much from that. And of course, we'll endeavor to answer any questions that arise during today's session. So like Amanda had said as well, please do submit any questions you might have to the question block there, and we'll try to get to them at the end of our session today, or hopefully during the session itself. So now, without further ado, let's begin taking a look at Amicus Mobile. So some starting points I just want to briefly touch upon before we go too far in here. First things first, Amicus Mobile is available on both the iTunes Store for your Apple and your iOS devices and on the Google Play Store for any Android-based devices. To be able to use Amicus Mobile, your firm must first have Amicus Anywhere access and have completed the setup of it. So now that we've covered off those brief little intangibles there, let's talk about logging into Amicus Mobile. So once you've downloaded the app from the respective application store on your device, whether it's Apple or Google or Android, you will have this nice splash screen when you first open it up, Amicus Attorney. It's going to have a username field and a password field, and of course this little login option. So like I was saying earlier in our starting point section there, where I talked about the firm having to have Amicus Anywhere set up, the reason for that being is that Amicus Mobile uses your Amicus Anywhere credentials to log in. So once you've got the app open on your device, you will simply input the email address that you've associated with your user profile in Amicus Attorney on the desktop, and that is what you would have used for Amicus Anywhere as well. And of course your password, much like Amicus Anywhere and Amicus Attorney on the desktop, is the same password. So there's no need for additional passwords to use the Amicus Mobile app. It is using the same password that you use to log into Amicus Attorney on your desktop, which in turn you use that to log into Amicus Anywhere on the web as well. So as you can see here, I'll click there and it'll appear as though I've typed in my password here. Very nice and secure. And I will now click the login button. And so as you can see, on login, I'm opened up to the main menu in Amicus Mobile. So let's just briefly talk about what we can view and work with here in Amicus Mobile. So as you can see, we've got the following options available to us. We have files, time entries, phone calls, notes, settings, and sign out. So let's now take a look at each one of these areas within the Amicus Mobile app. To start with, we'll take a look at the Files module. So let's click on that. So as I click on Files, you'll see that Amicus Mobile is now showing me a list of my files. And something to note here, by default, Amicus Mobile will show you any of your files that have had any activity upon them in the past 30 days. And that could be anything, whether it's a time entry that was done on that file, a document associated to it, a particular event or to-do, whatever the case may be. You might have put a note on the file. As long as there was activity on it in the last 30 days and you are an assigned firm member, that file should show up in this list. If you need access to a file that is not showing up in this list, so as such it has not had any activity on it in the past 30 days, you would simply click up here in the search field, and you could search for a particular file as long as you know the file name. It will connect with your Amicus database on your server in-house or wherever that may be hosted, and it will pull that information down to your mobile device here. So to begin with, let's just take a look at a file here. We'll take a look at the Bailey Rekipling file. So as I click on that, we now have the following file information being displayed to us. Up here at the top, you'll see the file name. Here we've got the client ID value and the matter ID value. And we're seeing what type of file it is here in the file type section. You'll note as well that we have a primary client here, and we have options right here. I could click on this to send an email to Janet, and I could click on this to do a phone call. We'll cover that in a little more detail here shortly. As well, we have other contacts on the file. So here we can see Douglas Brackman and R. Kipling. And for both of those contacts, we have the email icon and the phone call icons as well. Below that, you'll see there is the open date of the file. There is the status of the file. And if I was to scroll down, you'll see there is the summary of the file. So basically, in a nutshell, Amicus Mobile provides us with a convenient and informative snapshot of our files, as you can see here. Now, please keep in mind that due to the fact that we are working on a mobile device here, we will not have access to everything that we would find in Amicus Attorney on our desktops or even in Amicus Anywhere on the web. If you are looking to access this data remotely, such as documents on the file or a view of all the calendar events on the file, you would need to utilize either Amicus Attorney on your desktop or log into Amicus Anywhere via the web. So getting back to what we're seeing on the screen here, let's go over some of the functionality we have within the files here in Amicus Mobile. If I was to click on the plus sign up here in the right-hand corner, I'll receive a prompt asking me if I want to create one of the following. You'll see I've got options for a new time entry, a new phone call, or a new note. I'm simply going to click dismiss on that for the time being because we'll come back to that stuff in a little bit. So if we were to proceed with any one of these items though, because we're doing it from the file, that particular item would automatically inherit the file association. So again, Amicus Mobile is taking one less step out of the equation for us that we have to concern ourselves with. So note that I can click on the primary client here on the file. So if I click on Janet's name, you'll see it brings up her contact card for me, showing me her name, her phone number or phone numbers, and there's her email address. And I could click on any of these icons to either call one of these numbers or send an email. And again, because this is pulling data directly from our Amicus Attorney database, let's suppose that somebody at the firm logged into Amicus Attorney and updated Janet's contact information to add a different phone number or perhaps correct the phone number or an email address. Once that information has been saved in Amicus on the desktop, it will be pulled down to your mobile device real time as long as you have an active connection. So I'll just say back on that for the moment. And let's say that I wanted to do a phone call to Janet Bailey. If I click on the phone call item here, you'll see that it brings up the prompts, which phone number do I want to call, the business number or the home number. Let's say I'll call her on the business line. So let's pretend that I actually did a phone call there. And now you'll see that because I've completed the phone call, I spent 14 seconds on this call. Do I want to record the details? I'm going to say yes. And there's our phone call details. As you can see, it's got the file association there. There's the contact information, the number that we called. The direction was outbound, the date and time of the call, the duration of the call, and there's a description. I can click done on this. And as I do, you'll see that I get a prompt here. Do I want to create a time entry associated with this? Why, yes, I do. So I will click yes on that. And as you can see here, we now have a new time entry. Again, it has the file association there for us already. There's our duration, the date. I do not have an activity code specified in this case. And there's our description. I can click done on that. And that's it for creating the time entry off that. Now as well, if I wanted to do an email to Janet, I could simply click on that, the email icon, and you'll see here I've generated the email. We'll just click send. And again, I'm prompted, do I want to create a time entry? I will say yes. There's my time entry. As you can see, again, it has inherited our file association. There's our duration, the date. I'm again not putting an activity code in this case, but there's our description. So I will click Done, and I'm back at the file. So that's what I can do from the file itself. So let me just click on Back here. And again, I'm taken out to the list of files here in the Files module. And let's just click on the menu icon here. And I'll go out to my main menu, and we'll take a look at one of the other areas in Amicus Mobile. And I think just going based on the list here itself, let's go to time entries next. So as you can see here, I'm seeing a list of my time entries. There's the phone call I just created, and there's the email that I just created. I can click on these and view the details. And you'll see by clicking either cancel or done, it takes me back out to the list. And again, if there was a time entry that I wasn't seeing here, but I knew the name of the file on it, for instance, I could click in the search option and I could search for that. If it's not here on my device, it would pull it down from our database. So I'll just click hide on that. Okay, so as well in here, you'll see that there's this settings icon up here. So if I click on that, it's going to bring up filters for the time entries module for me. You can see I can base it on status. I could base it on a date range. I could say the last 30 days, the last 7 days, the last 3, today, and so forth. So I'm just going to say done there. And of course, I could base it on a file type as well. And of course, we have this reset to default values option here. If I was to click on that, it would reset it to the default values. You'll notice it does show us a total down here for the time as well. And if I wanted to create a new time entry on the fly, I can do so very easily from here in the time entries module by simply clicking on this plus sign up in the upper right-hand corner. I would select my file. There's my duration, my date, and my description. So once I'm done with that, I could simply click Done, and that will have created that time entry for me. Now, another thing to note is any time entries that are created in Amicus Mobile are unposted time entries, and therefore you will need to log into Amicus Attorney on your desktop once you get back to the office and post them from there, or have somebody do so at the office for you if you can't make it there in time to do so. So we've now covered both the files and the time entries. So let's take a look at another area here in Amicus Mobile. So we'll click the menu icon to go back out here, and this time we'll take a look at phone calls. So if I click on phone calls, it'll take me to the module here like we've seen in earlier instances. And if I wanted to see the details of one of these phone calls, I would simply click on it like so. And as you can see, it's showing me the file association, the contact, the number, the direction, whether it was inbound or outbound, the date and time, the duration, and of course a description. And of course, I can say cancel or done to either save those changes or discard them. And much like the time entries and the files modules, if I'm not seeing something here, I can click in the search field and do a search for it. And if it's not already on my device, it would pull the Amicus database and pull that information down to the device for us. As well, if I wanted to create a new phone call from here, I can do so very easily by clicking on the plus sign up here in the corner. I could select the file. I could select the contact. There's the phone number. There's our direction, date and time, duration, and I could add a description here as well. And we'll say done on this to save the phone call. And of course, there would be the phone call that I had just saved. And of course, we do have the settings icon up here where I've got my filters for direction, whether it's inbound, outbound, or all. And of course, I can pick the date range as well. This month, the last 30 days, the last 7, the last 3, and today. And much like the other areas, we also have the reset to default values option here. So I'll just say done. And that, in a nutshell, is the phone calls module. So as you can see, the theme here is very much simplicity and getting the information you need in a very fast and efficient manner. So let's take a quick look at notes here. So you'll see I've clicked on the notes module from the main menu there. And much like in the previous modules that we've reviewed, we'll see a list here of our recent notes. We can search and pull down from the Amicus database any notes that we may not be seeing. As well, we can click on the settings icon here. And of course, we can alter our range for this one. Or we could reset to default values. So I'll say done there. And of course, if I wanted to open the details of a note, there you can see there is the file association. There is the description. I'll say done. And if I wanted to create a new note, much like the other areas in Amicus Mobile here, I would simply click on the little plus sign up here on the right. I can select my file here. And then I can put in my description. I would say done once I've done so. Done to save it. And of course, there would be my note. So we'll go and click on the menu icon here again. And the last area I want to take a brief look at here is settings. So we'll click on that. And here you'll see where we've got the following options. We have data encryption. Right now I've got mine set to bank grade 256-bit. So this shows you just how secure the data is within Amicus Mobile. I've got my sync interval options. Right now it's set to 5 minutes, but I could set it to 1, 3, or 10. There's the account that I'm logged in with. And of course, I do have a toggle here to keep myself logged in. And much like the other areas, we've got our reset to default values option here. And as well, we can tell what version of Amicus Mobile we might be using. So now we'll just click back here onto the main menu. And the last thing I want to show you is the sign out option. So much like the label indicates, clicking here on sign out, it's going to prompt us like so. And if we're sure we want to proceed, we can click continue. If not, we could click cancel. So for the purposes of our demo here, let's just do continue so we can sign out. And as you can see, it would take me back to the login screen here. Now, I do have a couple of questions that came up in a prior Amicus Mobile webinar, so I'd like to touch upon those very quickly for you guys because I find that these are common things that we get asked here in the support department about it as well. Some people have asked us about calendar access on Amicus Mobile. Just so you guys know, currently this is not something that's available. Not sure if it's something that's going to be coming down the pipeline or not. But the main reason behind that is most of the users of Amicus Mobile are already integrated with either Office 365 or their own Exchange solution. And therefore, the data, like the calendar data, is already accessible on their mobile devices, either through the calendar apps or what have you. Another very popular question about Amicus Mobile is what version of Amicus Attorney is required for my firm to be able to utilize this amazing tool? Well, you must be on the latest version of Amicus Attorney, which is version 20, and you must have Amicus Anywhere Access enabled. So those are the two caveats there. Again, Amicus Attorney's latest version, which is version 20, and Amicus Anywhere Access. And the last one of those questions I had canned here was, does Amicus Mobile work with the Outlook app on your devices? The answer to that is no. Any emails that are generated and sent within Amicus Mobile are done so within the app itself. So we're not utilizing or needing Outlook or the mail app that's on your phone or tablet or whatever device you might be using. In this case, it's all done straight within Amicus Mobile. So I just want to see if you guys have any questions about the stuff that we've covered. I know this was very quick and brief. I do apologize for not being able to go off the tangent a bit in my displaying of things as well. But if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the question box there, and I'll be happy to try to answer those for you. Okay, I haven't seen any questions coming up yet, so if you guys do have any, there's still a little bit of time to get them in, but I just wanted to throw in a couple of things as well. Just remember, everybody, Abacus Maximus is coming up very fast, so if any of you want to visit beautiful Las Vegas and catch up on all of the exciting news and features about all of our Abacus Next products, please do check out abacusmaximus.com for further details. This event is taking place July the 9th through July 11th, so hopefully we'll see you guys there. And I still don't see any questions, so hopefully that means that I've covered everything that you guys were hoping to take away from this session today.
Yeah, thank you, Darren. This was very informative. As a reminder, this will be available on our website and also sent to all registrants. So if there's something you missed, something you want to review, you can feel free to log on to abacusnext.com/webinars. Darren, I believe you will be in Vegas at Abacus Maximus, correct? You will be there?
I will indeed.
Great. So we do remind everyone listening, we hope you can come out to Vegas. I'll be there as well. If nobody has any questions, again, one more second, which I don't see anything come through, we can wrap up the webinar. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for attending, and have yourselves a great rest of the day today and a wonderful week and weekend to come.